wouldn't to enact the goals of the Libertarian Party require it to be global or universal to start out? It seems like me there's no incremental way to suddenly be like, well, Oklahoma will be libertarian, and then how will that interact with all the other states?
Right.
And then, well, what if all of America were libertarian, and how is that going to work with all the other countries? And this is one of the problems with the goals as stated nationally. It seems to be Marxist in its global attitude. That is, it requires global control for the whole idea to work.
Well, it's actually quite the contrary of it. The platform is designed around protecting the smallest minority, which is the individual. So if Oklahoma is libertarian and the rest of them, the rest of the world is not, say they go full Marxist, full communist or whatever.
Right.
Oklahoma would, and you will see in the national platform that we believe in maintaining a sufficient military for the defense of our nation, or if it were Oklahoma's case, Oklahoma would maintain a sufficient defense for, as much as they could against the rest of the world.
So again, it's a subject. The concept is to the ideal concept is to be rid of all unnecessary force.
Correct.
And then we recognize, though, that the term unnecessary is totally subjective.
In a lot of cases, yes, but there are also lines which, even the common person can draw regardless of their political affiliation. Like, it's not okay to just walk up to somebody in the street and punch them in the face, right? I mean, I think that's something that we can all agree on.
Right, but it gets stickier if they live inside a womb, because we are allowing for the children that live inside wombs to be ripped apart and aborted, which we're going to get to.
I
that
started to say, do you want to jump into that one now, or are we going to
we want them to stay tuned? But I mean, the point is, this is the lack of consistency in the Libertarian Party, if you ask me. Unnecessary force is subjective. When you say members of society, that is subjective. Not all the people are included in the definition of members when you say members.
Well, in the traditional sense, the way things are done right now, that is correct. But, and we're going to be talking about ideals versus principles later on. In the ideal world, society would be nothing more, and it would be understood as by everyone as nothing more than a collection of individuals. And individual liberty would be where the respect was given, as opposed to right now the collectivism, say the left versus right, or authoritarian versus libertarian, so on and so forth, etc. Instead of putting everybody in boxes and collectivizing, it would be an association of individuals, and free association would reign.
According to the Republican platform, it is an association of individuals. It defends the right of individuals. The first 10 amendments are a protection of the individual rights. It's codified into law. There's no new concept of defending the individual.
And that's not entirely accurate, because if we look at the Republican platform, they also, in many places at the local, state, and national level, all say, for instance, restricting the rights of gay individuals to marry. Or, as we will get into later, talking about banning abortion through the government, as opposed to finding a free market solution for it. So there are places in the Republican platform where they do collectivize individuals and suggest that they should have less rights than their other citizens based off of a single trait about them.
There is a problem in the federal government, state and local, of recognizing rights according to groups, which they don't. The rights are not assigned to groups.
They shouldn't be, but they are.
That's one of the problems. If the Libertarian Party is supporting concepts of group rights, then that's a problem for me right there.
And you will hear me have arguments about that with my fellow libertarians all the time, is that we should not be supporting any group's rights. We should be supporting equal rights for every individual, regardless of what group you want to affiliate with.
I agree with that.
So every individual has the right to be married. Every individual has the right to bear arms. Every individual has the right to self-autonomy.
And I agree with that. And we'll, I don't have it on there, but hopefully we'll get to it, marriage. And it comes down to definition of marriage. Because when you say marriage, you're assuming that, your definition of a marriage. And there are, I guess, apparently other definitions of marriage.
Very true. Yes.
And so we'll move.